Okay. Uh, so under OOPS, we will know what are the basic core principles of OOPS. Generally, object-oriented principles, C#.NET and other VB.NET also supports object-oriented principles. This is the basic thing where everyone can understand what was the relations with classes and objects in our real-time programming. Okay. See, generally, if a language, suppose if you choose any of the programming language in order to do program, so we would like to know what are the principles that language will support. So may that language may support object-oriented principles or procedure-oriented principles that we have to judge. As per our requirement, like C#.NET supports object-oriented principles. Why we can say it supports object-oriented principle means if a programming language supports basic implementations of classes and objects along with if they supports polymorphism, if they supports inheritance, if they supports encapsulation, if they supports abstraction, then we'll call it as an language belongs to an object-oriented programming language. Okay,
Okay.
so that each and every feature that what I told you, no, so all these features, if all these features is supported by any programming language, then we can blindly say that that is an object oriented programming language. Okay,
Okay.
generally in a procedure oriented programming language or basic programming languages, generally analyzation of a problem is big difficult. Why? Because our problem, we cannot segregate our problem, or we cannot identify what was the problem in a real time scenarios. Why? Because here we have one flexibility. Your problem is nothing but your class. A class contains multiple number of methods and multiple number of data members and everything. Okay, whatever your requirement means nothing but we will segregate your requirement into modules. Okay, this method means this module will perform this implementation, means nothing but this method is perform some task, another method is perform some other task, another method is perform some other task. Like that we can segregate in an object oriented principles, so that analyzation is very easy when compared to other programming languages. Okay, so
Okay.
now let us see like what is the class and what is an object. For every object oriented programming language, core principle is class and object. Okay, class and object. For everything, generally, like as per the others, like everyone can derive and define in their own patterns what is a class and what is an object. Here what I'm going to do is class generally in general, like categorization. Say for example, I will consider like one fruit. Okay, fruit may be a type, different type, maybe a fruit, a custard apple, or maybe a banana, maybe anything, any fruit. So your fruit is nothing but a class, and the types of fruits are nothing but the categorizations which are belonging to a particular class. Okay, nothing but your base entity is nothing but your type is nothing but, here we are dealing about fruit or something. If you want to deal about something which is related to a book, okay, maybe you have a books like related to technical concepts, books related to academic concepts, many anything. So all under comes under one category, that is nothing but a book category. Okay, nothing but book is your class. Okay, likewise in real time also we can map an element. So for example, automobiles, maybe two-wheeler, maybe four-wheeler, maybe three-wheeler, anything that we can categorize. Automobile is your class, and the type of the things are related to the members of your class. Okay, likewise we can define. Okay, as per the technical concept, we can call it as a class is an user-defined data type. Class is an user-defined data type.
Okay.
User-defined data type. Okay, in which in which it represents hierarchical categorization of hierarchical categorization of base elements. Okay, so class is an user defined data type in which it represents hierarchical categorization of base elements. See, as per our examples, automobile is our hierarchical categorization. Under automobiles we have different types, maybe two-wheeler, four-wheeler, anything, right? So like fruit, we already spoken about fruit. Fruit is nothing but we have a different types of fruits, right? So likewise we can define, this is an hierarchy. Okay, by using class only we can do anything. So in object oriented principles, without class we can't do anything. As we already gone through the different programs where everywhere we have a class. Okay, class, by using the class we are doing something in which we return some methods, in which we return some variables, anything that we can achieve. Okay, so now we can call it as class is an collection of data members and member functions. Okay, class is a collection of data members and member functions. Let me explain, let me elaborate the statement. See, generally if I declare a class, okay, class contains many things, out of which basic things are data members and member functions. Data member is
Okay.
nothing but a variable. Suppose if I declare a variable int a, which is nothing but, if it is declared under a class, then we can call it as a data member. Okay, so if we declare, generally that only we will call it as a variable, which is another phase of calling, but actually that is a data member. The data member is nothing but a member which is specifying some data or which is allocating some data in particular variable. That is nothing but a data member.
So by default there is a class, right? Like a public class or
Yeah, 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 yeah. By under
right.
class only we can do anything. Okay, without class we can't do anything. Okay, that we can
So the
understand.
main is a function, right?
Yeah, see, that declaration comes under function. Okay,
Yeah.
suppose if you
Okay.
want to perform any action, that main thing we have to, it requires a function. Without function we
Okay.
can't do anything. Okay, but without
Okay.
class we can't do anything. So your class is your hierarchy. Under your hierarchy your function will act as a your your performer. Like if you want to do
Okay.
anything, you can communicate with the function. If
Okay.
function is going to do something, it always communicate with a class.
Okay.
Okay, class is a collection of data members and member functions. Okay, see, like I will provide a syntax for you. If you want to declare any class, we will declare, like, syntax for the class is like this. Syntax axis modifier. Okay, we can call it as an
Okay.
axis modifier or axis specifier, anything we can use. Okay, class as a keyword, this is a keyword. Okay, class keyword space name of the class, whatever the name that we want to
Okay.
choose, name of the class. Okay,
Okay.
class, basically I told you that class contains many things, out of which basic things are data members and member functions, right? So
Yeah.
but class contain, I will give the entire list what class will accommodate. Class contains
Okay.
data members. Okay, and then, like, member functions, and then constructors. Okay, and then we have destructors, and then we have a properties, and then we have delegates, and then we have a indexers. Okay, and then we have an events. These all are the minute elements which are belonging to a particular class. Okay, so data members, member functions, constructors, destructors, properties, delegates, indexers, events. Okay, so we may not sure all these elements will be used at single time. Okay, it may take, like, sometimes we may use only data members, some member functions, and sometimes we may use constructors, sometimes we may use destructors, sometimes we may use properties, sometimes we may use delegates. Like that, according to our requirement we can use all these things. Okay,
Okay.
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 Now let us discuss, like, this is the basic syntax of the class. Okay, I will provide an example. Like, access modifier or access specifier is nothing but public. Okay, You can use public or private or protected internal, anything we can use. Okay, here in .NET we have a 5 things. One is public, another is private, other is internal, and other is protected, and other is protected internal. Okay, we have a separate topic for this. We'll discuss clearly when we use public, when we use private, and all those things. For time being, you can remember that I'm using public as a, like, access modifier, and then class keyword, and we can use name of the class. Say for example, my class name is A. Okay, see here,
Okay.
under data member, here I'm using like int p comma q something. This is my data member. If you want to
Okay.
write any function, public void, okay, get data, this is the method. Okay, this is nothing but, here we can provide our own implementation. Okay, under get data method, this is nothing but your member function.
What is the void for?
Yeah, we will discuss that. Okay, we'll discuss clearly. This is the, you can understand, this is the basic syntax of class. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
we will elaborate each and everything under our
Okay.
implementation. Okay,
Okay.
so for, are you clear about all these things?
Yeah.
Yeah, class contains this many number of things. Basic declaration of class is this. Okay, if you want to achieve anything, member should require. Okay, so in member
Okay.
we can declare, or we can provide our own definition, so that we can achieve our own desired functionality. Okay,
Okay.
okay, next, see, this is a basic syntax, right? So now we will see what is the data member. Okay, first, data member, as you know, it is used to holds some value into it. Means data member always holds some value. Okay, so holding of a value always depends on the type of, on the data type declaration. On the data type declaration. Okay, suppose if I take int a equal to 10, so which integer, like a is a variable, so variable holds 10 as an information, 10 is an integer type, so that we can call int a equal to 10, which always holds a integer value. Okay, so these variables are categorized into different types. Okay, so the declaration is local variable and global variable. Two types are local variable and a global variable. Okay, local variable means, generally means we can call it as a local data member and as well as a global data member. Okay, suppose if we declare a variable within a function, then we will call it as a local variable. Okay, so for example, I have one class. Understand, let's say, understand my analogy here. I have one class. My class contains three methods. Okay, I have a class. My class contains three methods. Three methods. I have a different variables. Okay, if you declare a variable inside your method, then we'll call it as a local variable. Am I clear? Hello?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. Okay. If I
It's
declare a
clear.
variable inside a method, then it is nothing but a local variable. Okay.
Okay.
Global variable means if I declare a variable, okay, inside a class which is not specific to a particular method, then we can call it as a global variable. Okay. If we declare a variable under a class which is not specific to a particular, which is on particular method, then call it as a global variable. Okay. If we declare a variable under a class which is not specific to a particular method, then we will call it as a global variable. Okay. So now let us see how variables part will be, like, in practical implementation, so that we'll jump into, like, how our methods will be influenced these variables. Then we'll check. So I would like to take a new program. So new project or solution. New project. I named it as oops. Int I declared int p q itself, right?
Right.
See, suppose if I declare one more method here, say for example, static void my method, int r, okay, r equal to 10, value of an r is, okay, value of r is r. Here this is a local variable. If you declare a variable at global, these two are global variables.
Right.
If you declare any variable as a global variable, then we have a provision to access that variable in any method. Now we can access value of p is, okay. So
Okay.
it is not accessing because this is not a public thing. So that it is not. Now you can get it.
Also, this will give error, right? Because P has no value.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing, we have a static and non-static declarations. That is also one thing. Consider this as a static for time being. We have a different concept of static and non-static. Then we will check what is static and what is non-static. By default, all variables are non-static. But in order to access an other variables in a static method, that variable should also possess a static behavior. That's the reason where
Okay.
I placed a static in front of integer itself. Okay. Static
Okay.
methods
Okay.
always accepts the static variables only.
Okay.
Likewise, we can access here, right? So generally, so if it is a global variable, that is an advantage where we can access anywhere. If it is a local variable, that is restricted to a particular method
So,
itself.
why you put static in front of the method, you'll explain later, right?
Yes, yes. So this we have a
Okay.
separate concept on this. We'll check
Okay.
all those things later. Okay, now I'm executing. It is going to like, displays both value of r and value of p. Okay, so both
Right.
values I provided it. So this is a typical example for your global and local variable. Okay, I hope this thing will clear what is a global and what is a local variable, right?
Right.
Okay, now let us see what is a member function. Okay, say for example, member function, or we'll call it as a method. Okay, member functions functions are used to achieve some kind of implementation, to the user. Okay, suppose I want to do addition, or I want to do multiplication, or I want to do mathematical operations, or I want to do some code operations, or I want to insert some data, anything that you wish to do, then it always requires a member function or a method. Okay, both mean the same. Okay, always member functions requires return type and access modifier. Okay, so let us see what is the return type. See, void return type is nothing but void. Okay, sometimes we may use void return type, sometimes we may use integer return type int, sometimes we may use string return type, sometimes we may use datetime as return type. Anything, any data type that you wish to return something, then we can use this return type. Okay, uh,
Okay.
and as well as methods are basic building blocks for an application, which means that without method we can't do anything. Okay,
Okay.
so it supports reusability feature. Okay, so method supports reusability feature, in which means, say for example, I wish to do one thing, that thing will be it is repeated in 2 to 3 times in my project. My project contains 100 number of modules. Okay, at that point of time we will implement that common functionality in one method, and we will call that method anywhere where it is required. Okay, so that we can reuse the same feature wherever, whenever is required for us. Okay, so it supports the reusability feature. Okay, if we implement one thing, if that thing is usable to some other module, so that we can call that method, so that it supports a reusable feature. Okay, na? Hello, hello.
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't expect a response from you. I'm asking, but you are not responding. I'm searching for you.
Okay.
Just a minute. Something, it got failed.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, this part I'll do later. It may take some time, I think.
Okay.
But, let us continue.
Okay.
Okay, it supports reusability feature. Okay, now let us see what is a return type. Okay,
So a method always has to return something,
yeah, it always,
or it's optional?
yeah. And as first we'll see
Okay.
syntax. What was the syntax for the, for a particular implementation, for method implementation. First, it always requires access modifier or access specifier that is required.
Okay.
Okay. So, and as well as after that it requires a return type. After that it returns the name of the method. Okay, in which we will provide some statements. So nothing but our piece of code. So whatever we wish to do. Okay.
Okay.
Example is nothing but example. So here I would like to provide public space void as my return type. Okay, get data, say for example. Okay, so now we'll
Okay.
discuss what are the return types. Okay, means what is the purpose of basic purpose of a method?
To form a functionality, no?
Oh yeah. To achieve some kind of functionality, we required a method, right?
Yeah.
This was clear for us. Okay, in order
Right.
to achieve a functionality, either means that nothing but we have to do something, right? We have to perform some task, right? So
Right.
after the performing of the task, we want to return something to the user, right? So what we want to return, that return we have to declare at function. Suppose
Okay.
if your functionality is going to return some integer value, then we make and return type as integer.
Integer. Okay.
Okay, suppose if your functionality is going to return some string. Okay, if your function is going to return a integer, going to return a string. Okay,
Okay.
then we make an return type as a string itself. Okay, suppose if a method is going to return an suppose method is going to return date time. Okay, date time value, then we can make a return type as a date time. Okay, likewise whatever whatever we are going to return something, that is nothing but a return type. Suppose if we don't want to return anything, don't want to return anything, then void is your return, then
Okay.
void is your return type.
Okay.
Okay, see, if you don't want to return anything, then what is the use of a function? You might got a question, right? If a function is,
Mm-hmm.
you got question, right? If function is don't want to return anything, then what is the use of a function? You might have a
Right.
question, right? So the thing is, sometimes we may not return anything, but will display some messages. Okay,
Right. Right.
so in order to display some messages, void is function is required. For that
Right.
function, void is a return type that we have to use. In some scenarios, we will call one function from another function. At that time, so just in order to call one function, we are just going to declare another function. So another function has a no use, but the use is we are internally calling other function. Okay, at that time there is no use with that particular function. At that time we use just void as a return type. In such a way, if a function is going to return a true or false value, then you can take boolean as a return type. If a function is going to return ones or zero something, we can declare byte as a return type. Likewise, according to our requirement, whatever the thing that is going to return, so according to that we will declare our return type in our functions itself. Okay,
Okay.
clear? Any confusion?
No, that's
Okay. Now let us see how functions will be utilized in our programs. So generally we did many programs internally with a function only, but we don't know the specific use, right? So generally now we will see. Okay, now I will combine these two topics, data members and member functions, and we'll do some programs on this. Okay.
okay.
Okay, member functions. Okay, just it requires main method, right? So whatever, see, this is our main class. Okay, means this class by default will get this class. Okay, I want to declare one class. Suppose, see, I already told you, no, for declaring of a class, access modifier or access specifier is required, right? And then class
Right.
keyword and the, so here there is no access modifier, right? There is no access
Yeah.
modifier. Suppose for class, this rule is for class. Note, if no access modifier is declared for a class, then it indicates that it indicates that internal is a default access modifier. Internal is an default access modifier. Okay?
Which is private, right?
No private, which we can accessible within a namespace.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a difference between internal and private that we will discuss in later topic. Okay, anyway today only
Okay.
we'll discuss that one. Okay, internal
Okay.
as a by default access modifier.
Okay.
Okay, and as well as the same note that I have to repeat here for method, but the thing is here a different thing. If no access specifier is declared for a method, then by default is private. By default is private access modifier. Okay, for a method by default is private. Okay, for a class by default is internal. Okay,
Okay.
then what about a data member? We have a question, right? So here I'll write that note. For data member also this is private. Okay, whatever the
Okay.
things which are belonging to a class, okay, by default those are private. Whatever the things that
Okay.
which are outside of a class, those are internal. Okay, I think
Okay.
um, okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own class. Okay, instead of depending on the particular class, I'm going, or else we'll do the program here only, because that part we'll discuss later also. So this is my class in which I have a method. Okay, in this method I have a different implementation approaches where I can tell you. See, I want to declare two variables inside this method, right? So just int a comma b. So in which I would like to declare a one method. So my method name is get month info, say for example. So in this I would like to achieve something. Okay, I declared my method as a void. Okay,
Okay.
I declared my method as a void. Give me 2 seconds. I will come.
Okay.
Just
Okay. Okay.
now this is for for methods, right? So generally I want to print some information. So just for that reason I would like to take void as a return type here. Okay, void is a return
Okay.
type. So for time being I will take it as a static. I will explain why static later. Okay,
Okay.
console dot dot
Okay.
line. Uh, this is my get month info method. I just gave a name like this. This is my get. Just I'm going to call this method here. Okay.
Okay.
So now I'm
Okay.
using console.readline.
Okay.
Now here I would like to make a startup object of this program. This is my getInfo method. Okay. Now it's clear, right?
Yes.
Now I would like to perform some operation. Okay. So just I would like to perform some operation. Static void. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
add. Okay. I would like to add something. Add operation. I want to take two variables, int a comma b. Okay. So I'm asking the user to enter this string. Please enter a comma b values. Okay. A equal to convert dot to int 32 of console dot read line. So now addition of and is comma a comma b comma addition value is a plus b, right? So just I'm going to display this. Now I'm going to call this method add operation. Okay. So
Okay.
just I want to print an operation here, so that I just use void here itself. So just I'm going to execute this program. Please enter two values 10 or 35 something. So addition of 10 and 35 is 45. You got some output, right? Now,
Okay.
now I'm using one more method, static int, uh, static int. So multi operation. So means I want to do some multiplication. Okay. Here also I would like to take two variables into p comma q. Okay. Please enter p comma q values. Okay. P equal to convert dot to in 32 of console dot read line. Okay. Next q equal to convert dot to int 32 of console dot.
I cannot see the screen.
Is it?
Just like it has the same thing. Like what are you typing more, right? But I don't see that.
Okay. Just you can check now.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. You should inform earlier, no? Uh,
Yeah.
okay. Just I'm accessing P and Q values here. Okay. So just here I'm using return statement, return P into Q. Okay. Whenever we are using any other return type other than void, we should use return as a keyword.
Okay.
Okay. If you are using void means no need to write any return statement. But suppose if you are not using any return statement, just I'm commenting here. So see, just this method is saying not all code paths returns a value. Okay. If you found any error, then you can understand that that method didn't contains any return keyword. You must add that return keyword. Okay. So just you add a
Okay.
return keyword. Now so I would like to take one more variable called that is res, result value. Okay. So res, I'm trying to call this multi operation. Multi operation. When I call
Right.
this multi operation here, what are the values that it is written by this method? That value will be assigned to this res variable. So now we can
Okay.
print. Okay. Multiplication multiplication of two numbers is is res.
RES.
Okay,
Okay.
like that we can print. So now please enter 10, 25 something. So now I'm going to access like pass PQ value 14 2. So multiplication is 28. Okay. Likewise, we can pass any values, and in this way we can perform an operations.
Okay.
Okay. So one is with void and other is for integer. If you want to say for example, I would like to take one more method which is going to return a string as a return type. Okay. Get, I would like to use a get info method. Okay. So I'm using just some, please enter your course name. Just I want to take this as a course name. So just I want to take string course name. Course name equal to console dot read line. Okay. Now return course name. So now I'm taking, see, so my return keyword returns, then automatically here error prompt will be disappeared, right? So just my course name is, here you can take. So here what is your method name? Get info, right?
Yeah.
You can call get info directly here also. If you want to assign that value to a variable, you can use like this. If you don't want to assign that information to a variable, you just directly call that method like this.
Okay.
Got my point?
Yeah.
Or so 10, right? Multiplication. Please enter a course name. C sharp.net. My course name is C sharp.net. Like this. This is without void. These two are without like return types. These two are related to with return types. Okay. Here int as a
Okay.
return type. Here string as a return type. Okay. So this is about member functions. Okay. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, this is about member functions.
Okay.
Now let us discuss about object.
Okay. Okay.
See, you have a class and you have a method. I mean member function. So even though you have a class and you have a member function, we cannot access without an object. Okay? So it always requires object in order to access and information of a class members. Okay? So we can call, see, in order to access class members, we need an object. Okay? So in other words, and technically, we'll derive object as a, it is an runtime entity of a class.
Okay.
Runtime entity for a class. Entity for a class. Okay. Suppose if you object is usually created for a class itself, right? So whenever we are going to create an object, we have some certain syntax for creating an object for a class. Okay. So syntax is class name space object name equal to new. Okay. We'll discuss what is new, and then class name. This is the syntax. For example, if my class name is A, I can create object equal to new space A, like this. Here, new is an memory instance operator. Is a memory instance operator, which means that, see, in class we can create multiple number of variables and multiple number of methods, right? In class we can create multiple number of variables and multiple number of functions, or nothing but methods. For everything it requires some memory, right? That memory will be allocated by this new operator. Okay, according to the class declaration, the new new operator is going to allocate some memory, and that memory will be allocated to the particular class members, so that each and every class member contains some memory that we can utilize according to our program. Okay, in this way we can create an object for a class. Okay, if we wish to access a if we wish to access a members of a class, then we can access as follows. Okay, see, our object name is obj. Say for example, if we want to access a variable, so we can call obj dot, say for example, p, like that we can access. Okay, p is nothing but, here p is your variable. Okay, obj dot q. Okay, here q is your variable. Okay, suppose if you want to access a method, obj dot your method name, your method name. Okay, like this we can access. Okay, am I clear? Hello? Hello?
They need to be public. They need to be public, right, to access them?
Yeah, yes. That is mandate.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Hello.